is on attention economy, and a few years back when I was introduced to this term, I said, what is attention economy? I was curious to know about the subject. Then I realized that whatever we do online today, whatever time we give to social media platforms, etc., that is traded, right? So my time, which I spend online, gets traded by somebody like Meta and others, and sold to advertisers like us. We buy that time, and we reach out to our consumers. So that in a nutshell is basically trading about attention. Then attention is coming down, and then we got to this term a few years back where it was said that the goldfish attention span is 8 seconds, and human attention span is coming shorter and shorter and shorter now. And it has come to an age now when we talk about attention span being just about 3 seconds. The time you take to scroll from here to here, top of the screen to the bottom of the screen, when you go from one reel to another. So in such era, what is happening to the brands? How are brands interacting with consumers? How are brands trying to reach out to their consumers? Is brand building possible in 3 seconds, or do we still need larger formats? Is attention a problem, first of all? I think, it's a question of relevance. I'll ask you one question. How many of you have watched a series called Game of Thrones here? Quite a few, right? So time is not a problem, right? People have time, right? Let's settle one thing. We have time. We have time to watch 8 seasons into 10 episodes, some of them like 1.5 hours. It's no problem of time, right? There is a series called Ye Rishta Kya Kehlata Hai. I'm from old school, and we used to buy a lot of TV once upon a time. Ram Sai is here, and he's been buying a lot of TV. He's been selling it as well. So that series has been on since 2007. And it has been able to grab attention of people still, like 18 years, still on. Now coming to how do brands like I work for a company which manufactures and sells consumer products. We sell across all categories. We have been there in the business for 140 years. Started at the time when Queen Victoria was running this country. Till now, Mr. Modi is running the country. We've seen everything. We've been through all. And we've seen all kinds of consumers. Kept them loyal. And now we've come to an age where we have to communicate to a younger audience. Now I'll come to the questions to our panel members, starting with, can I start with you, Mayuri?
Of course.
So, how do you strike a balance between, say, brand building and performance in an era when Gen Z is very, very important, and you sell a product which is not necessarily, the decision making doesn't happen at the consumer standard most of the time. So how do you work on this?
That's a very interesting question, right? Day in and day out, me and some of our team members are here. We work on brand building and performance marketing all the time. Now, we as marketing team, we always have to make sure, you can hear me guys, right? Yeah, okay. We always have to make sure that the brand is on top. Right? How is the brand is on top? And we have all the measurements like relevance, awareness, consideration, purchase, and you have the top matrix. And that was, many years back, we used to look only at those kind of matrix. And you need to maintain that. But at the same time, which is like long-term and short-term both. And you have got different measures, right? You have got third parties doing, you have got many other measurements, and all those comes out to you, whether in 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. But at the same time today, what is happening is that your performance matrix, which is a daily number, your performance marketing has become so important. So because you can track everything what you're doing, whether you're putting money into social, whether you're putting money into influencer or into search or whatever vehicles you say, right? And it's not just about tracking at your .com, it's tracking even at your retail level. I think the data marketing has become so advanced. Like as marketeers, you need to be on top of the brand. So what are the things we need to do? Where of course, you know, your content, how much investment we are doing, then what is the period and the whole matrix, how you work on it. But I think, and I love performance marketing because that kind of, you know, when you are at a time and you are actually looking at live dashboards, what is your number and go by the hour and you have a target for the day. So it's like you work, you have a plan for the year, you have a plan for the quarter, you have a plan by week and you have a plan by day.
By day, of course.
Right? So where you're hitting spends and making sure your revenue.
So this sounds very familiar. In our business also we look at everyday numbers, and if you don't do business that day is gone.
Gone.
Every day is a refresh.
Yes. And you cannot,
and that day doesn't come back.
Correct.
That doesn't come back. Yeah.
So I think it's very, very interesting for us marketers, but also becomes very interesting to see that any marketer, how they have dived into each and every, we call it vehicle, but at platform level I would say. But every person, like earlier, you know, one will feel that, oh, I am doing only this much part, right? Because we all used to do, like, I'm talking, I will not say how many years back now, but we all used to do like everything in marketing, right? Right from your, you know, going on ground, activations, retail, digital, traditional, everything. But today when we look at the youngsters, right, it's so interesting to see the level of depth they have if it's for search, only search, and huge groups working. But the amount of work, I have got one person here in the team from social, the level of detailing, the level of work which happens, it's amazing. So I think it's like it's evolving, you know, into, and as you mentioned, a 3-second span. And that tells so much. How will you hold the consumer? For performance marketing, right, how will you even hold to even say that, okay, come, buy, get into the cart and buy. So yeah, that's what I would like to say.
Coming to you, Aman now. Aman, in the industry where we're trying to sell paints, like paint is a very interesting category, you know, and been dominated by one big player in the country, and now we have one big player, 4 sub-players, and lot more new entrants, and that's bringing the stock prices of Asian paints down every year, unfortunately. But you know, how do companies like yours, I mean, which is just come in, started about 2.5 years back, trying to navigate in a system which is where attention is very short, and secondly, the competition is huge, and you're like the story of David and Goliath kind of story, right? So how do you navigate through this?
Sure. Thanks. So as you rightly said, as a new player, which is a challenger brand, you cannot end up playing the, you know, the FCT game with the market, because at the end of the day, all marketing spends are tied to a top line. Someone who is a market leader will naturally have that advantage. The idea is, if you can find that niche and work on that niche and build your brand from there. I'll take an example because you just picked up. So 2.5 years back, JKMaxx did not exist. We picked up this thing, and it was like literally like a baby being born. With my team, we actually started the social media handles. We were so excited when we got the first, follower on our handles and all that. So we have been following a strategy to get authentic content onto our district. So for example, we are leading one of the largest influencer marketing campaigns, which is, while it's quite prevalent in a category like fashion, which I also have worked in previously, but not very native to paints. So influencer marketing is not very common in paints. But we have ensured that we have tied up with a pool of 100 odd DIY artists, home enthusiasts, who actually end up creating content which looks very, very genuine and authentic, and ends up, building the, attention and the consideration for the consumer. And the results, I think, there. We actually have surpassed everyone else now except the market leader Asian Paints. We are the second largest brand YouTube channel now, and have got the silver play button from Google itself. Amazing. So I think the results speak for themselves.
That's fantastic. Now coming to our my industry friend and colleague, Roopali, and who's a sponsor this event as well. Thank you so much, Roopali, for sponsoring this.
That's Mohit, not me.
So, in attention economy, what do you think works best? The purchase media, the borrowed media, which is like influencer, or earned media, which is, say, which you, like something which you get through virality. So at one hand, you have creativity, which is in the earned media, and borrowed media, you hired some influencer, and paid media, where you buy like hardcore media. What works best? What is the best way of navigating through this?
See, I come from an era where, offline was the medium at that time, and now we are in a medium where we are media agnostic. There is no media per se. However, to answer your question, I think each, let's say, paid media vis-a-vis, earned media vis-a-vis the virality that we talk about, paid media has its own role because, it gives you that instant reach and connectivity which no other medium can, provide even till now. Maybe a YouTube or an Insta, still it cannot beat a TV or any mass media that you have. However, while saying that, influencer marketing has become really big in our era. Influencer marketing per se, when we say influencer marketing, well, it's a buzzword. But I feel in today's world where, people's attention span is so low and so limited, people follow people. It's not like that I'm following Rajiv and that is why I'm doing that. It is like because Rajiv, I can relate to Rajiv because Rajiv as an influencer has given me something that I relate to him, and that is why I'm following him. And if Rajiv is talking about a brand, then yes, definitely I'll have some resonance, towards that brand, and I will have that affinity, which perhaps, just by advertising will not be built. Third and most important thing, earned media, which is really hard to get, by the way. I think we all aspire to, have that. Earned media is all about creativity and, what kind of storytelling a brand can have, which make people follow. Virality, we do get briefs every day from clients, that we need to build, virality for this brand or that brand. But until and unless the messaging is that strong and, you're bringing that creativity in your storytelling, I think you can't do that. However, if you are able to do that, for example, I'll just take an example of Dove. Dove, when they did that beauty sketch, campaign, beautiful face campaign, they did not sell soaps. They sold a concept. They sold a conversation which started close home and went global. So I think virality is all about how you conceive an idea and what creativity you bring to the table.
So follow-up question now, long format storytelling or short format storytelling? What does work?
Well, I think again,
So just keep a filter of your clients in mind, right? Like you handle Swiggy, you handle Hyundai, you handle Kia, you handle like lots of brands you've handled.
Yeah.
And you've worked in some big companies and run agencies for so many years. So amongst the brands which you work currently, which are more,
so I tell you what, there are these new age brands, there are these legacy brands, and there are brands which are somewhere there in between, and they're just trying to find their niche, whether they are mass brands or whether they are new age brands, okay? However, just to give a small example, Amul. Amul is a legacy brand. I think we all, as kids knew Amul, and now we are, in whatever age and stage of our life is, we still know Amul. I think there's no other brand in this country who's captured moment marketing like this brand has. They are absolutely topical. Any new topic that comes, Amul comes with, a topical ad, and we all, notice that. So that meme culture, that topicality, Amul has built very beautifully. Short format works, for example, if your goal or your brief is that you want to be, let's say, on Insta or you want to be on social media platform, then definitely, bite-sized, snackable content is something, that you should work on. And, that's where you go. However, if you're launching a brand, if your objective is to tell consumers that, hey, I'm there, or I'm coming back with certain proposition or certain promise, then long format still works, to an extent. And just to answer your question, for example, automobile as a category. Let's say if somebody is launching a car, just by doing a 3 second or a 6 second or a 10 second perhaps may not suffice. However, a long format might.
Yeah. Mayuri, what's your take on long format versus short
Yeah,
format?
I think I agree with you. It depends, it really depends on which audience you're going after, right? When you are talking about, okay, which is the product, what is the audience? So, and you spoke about the young generation. We all know that our young generation has got a short span, correct, of attention. But at the same time, what I've seen, and I've got like 2 daughters, and what I've seen with this generation, in that 3 seconds, they are so fast in everything, right? And they can capture so much stuff in actually the 3 seconds. Maybe what was 15 seconds earlier for us, I think it's 3 seconds for them. So hence, if you look at, so how they are, so which is the audience? Because some like you want to go into details of some kind of product. So it will depend on which is the audience, which is the product, and then what works. And we have seen, right, we have seen that long formats like 45 seconds, even like 1 minute just work at times. Because your story is so good, you don't want to stop. But at the same time, there can be products for which, even your 3 seconds has been like extremely, extremely difficult.
Yeah.
But at least like a 6 seconder or 10 seconder. There are campaigns which are like 6 seconders and 10 seconders. And I think some of the brands have really been able to crack that.
So for the audience information, I just want to grab your attention for 1 second. We are seated in different places. The guy with hair is Aman and the guy without hair is Rajiv. So don't look at what is behind the screen right now, okay? I just looked at the picture. I said, no, this guy doesn't have hair, and this guy has hair, and I realized, no, the wrong people. Yeah. So coming back to our session now, Aman, how do you engage with younger audience? I mean, how does a paint kind of brand interest a young Gen Z or somebody like who's trying to do a home, a young person who's trying to buy a home? I mean, how do you reach out to these audiences, and what is the what do you think is like a message to people who are trying to navigate in this kind of?
So the way we try to do, although the young audience by design is not a core TG for us. Our core TG in a paints is typically a 35, 40-year-old male who is actually, research proves that he's the sort of comes to the brand decision. While the color decision, which is different and happens post brand decision, is a collective decision of the family, the brand decision is done. But still, because there is definitely a coercive power which this audience, the younger generation who are college kids, and they definitely have a role to play. The kind of content that they are exposed to, the kind of new trends that they see, which perhaps we did not have access to, given that these guys are more digital natives, whereas when I think of when I was a teenager, if I had to get that content, I would have to scroll through some magazines or something, but which is now available at the fingertips, and that too like a infinite library of content. So these guys actually play the role of building the consideration set for the brand. So I am looking at a painting, I am a 40-year-old guy, I have to pick which brand to go for. What this generation will end up doing is get those brands which will eventually become a part of my consideration set into my head. And for that, the way we reach out to them is using content which is native to them. So if I have a campaign right now, in the middle of a campaign, given this is a season for the category, the same long format ad, which is there 30, 45 second playing on TV or a digital platform, has been broken, picking the most humorous and the highly impactful moments from that, turned into a snackable 5-seconder shots and served to these audiences, specifically targeting them. The idea is you engage them, and of course, in the hope that within some time in the consumer journey, these guys play a role. Also, the fact that what someone like, I would say an example of a Nestle has done, you engage the audiences at a young age. Like if you are a mother and you are feeding the child, maybe the child a girl child will become a mother someday, but she's naturally exposed to your brand at a very young age. So the idea is these consumers, Gen Z consumers of today, will eventually become my core consumers for tomorrow. So if I get my brand buy-in with them today, maybe they will of course buy me.
So next set, I think time is running out. I don't know why. We just started. I think
10 minutes.
I think they did some cheating with the timing. It looks like no. नहीं नहीं कुछ किया तूने नहीं. Okay, I need another 5-10 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of companies work on the sonic logo, right? Like for example, when you start Netflix, there's a sound which comes da-dung, right? Something like that. What do you when you listen to any ad of say McDonald's, there is a pa-ra-pa-pa-pa, that logo. So similarly, a lot of companies have been trying to develop a sonic logo for the company. We ourselves have been struggling with it. We don't have it yet, but we are working on it for like past 1.5 years. Do you think now, starting with Roopali, then Mayuri, a sonic logo for a brand will work in attention deficit world?
One, Airtel jingle. We still, when Airtel launched, and their, that iconic jingle that they launched with that, and washing powder, Nirma, wash. So for that, you did.
That's jingle, that's not sonic logo.
No, I know it's not a logo, but then. Sorry?
Britannia is a
Britannia
great
is
example.
classic example again, Intel has such a fantastic logo, every sound which you hear when you have, when you get a notification on the phone, that's like an entity which goes and rests in your head. So
I think yes, it does work because today's world is about visual, right? I mean, everything is visual. So sound anyway has taken a back seat because it's all about storytelling. It's all about, being immersive. It's all about being, relatable to a brand. So I think yes, it does, to answer your question.
Mayuri, I know you don't like this question, but
Actually in that area for Dell, but we work, as you say, we work very closely with Intel. It's like one team, and it works. Like we remember, and I don't know today's children will remember which all sonic logos, but at our times I think we remember so many of them. Like you talk about Docomo, I think even Colgate, right? That one. So it works and it's beautiful if you can continue it for years, but it's an extremely difficult piece to
it
crack.
takes a lot of time to establish it.
Yes.
And you have to continuously use it for number of decades for it to establish.
Yes. Because instead of coming up in a static way or whichever way, right, it comes with that sound, it resonates or it stays with you for so long.
Aman.
Okay, so absolutely, I would agree. I think particularly it has become even more relevant in today's this 3-second world, which is the main topic. I think I would just take a step back to the core marketing principle. The more senses you engage the consumer with, the higher is engagement. So you have a sense of sight, touch, smell. So sonic engages the consumer beyond the sense of visual, which is there definitely with him. So, and I think we discussed about the examples of Britannia and so many of them from within the category. Also, you have, Asian Paints also had one point in time. Narulac has been able to bring jingle if you talk about the larger, the music aspect as well. And yeah, so definitely we also try in the category, the more senses we are able to engage the consumers with, the better it is. So you already have a sense of sight, which engages the consumer through a good looking wall, but can you introduce a sense of smell by introducing a slight fragrance? Can you, through a designer wall or texture, induce the consumer through a sense of touch? So simple principle, more senses, better engagement.
By the way, I saw your commercials while I was looking at your work. And I saw the work which you've done, amazing work.
Thank you so much.
When you talked about the wall, I just remembered it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Roopali, what is your take on the ROI for the work? I mean, across the platforms when you work on short format, long format, and what do you think? Where is the ROI in this whole game? Is it important? I mean,
we're all asking that question forever.
for a clients, that's the only thing matters. I mean, where is ROI in this whole?
I think ROI is a combination of, there is the right messaging, the right platform, and the right consumer. If you're hitting all the three, in the right way, that's when, you get your ROI. But to be, more precise, I think digital as a medium, at least we are able to calculate ROI on certain parameters. So yes, within digital ecosystem, you still have some method to the, madness that you can. Other formats like TV, print, radio, etc., while we know their USPs and we still use them to calculate the bang-on ROI that, each and every advertiser asks for, perhaps has not been, cracked yet. But then digital as a medium, I think, there is ROI there.
So Mayuri, now, I mean, this question is slightly off the discussion which we're having. It's more about the DPDP Act now, which is going to come in and is going to make consumer data more difficult to get for marketers like us. How do we, I mean, what do you think is going to happen in future? Is it going to be more difficult to target people, or is it going to be similar?
To follow up on
Sure,
that
sure,
as well. As you said, right, it's the whole digital medium and, talking about ROI, and I think somewhere we also have become like, almost salesperson, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
We all have become salespeople. Because at the end of the day, when we are all talking as teams, and I do that a lot, is that, okay, how much ROAS you're going to give, right? What is your return?
Yeah.
But today, I think we have got so much of data. I think we also have been able to figure it out, okay, every medium, what is your return on investment? Because you've got models like the media mix modeling,
Yeah.
or, you have got different types of modeling. Different companies are doing in different ways, but more or less I will say that the algorithms and everything is the same. But you can actually work on long-term, short-term measurements for not only digital, but even at a traditional level. I know at the same day you don't get it, but it comes to you over a period of time that which mediums are really giving you the right ROAS. And when we look at this ROAS, that's when, how do we do the targeting? A lot of those things also come in, but to your question, it's more complicated now.
Can I ask one more question with your permission, sir? I know time is up, but is attention, are we in attention recession, number one? Secondly, is it a deficit of attention, or is it the choice of attention?
I would say, I think you already quoted some data points at the beginning of the discussion, the goldfish example and the fact that, humans' attention span has less. I would say that it is the choice of attention, Right now, I think you also alluded to the fact how many have watched those seasons of, Game of Thrones. I think the most important asset that humans have right now is the time. And the time is what we are trading. We have an infinite library of content at our fingertips. We can choose which one we want to watch, which one we don't want to watch. And the more increasingly this piece is coming, it's like our natural noise cancellation filter is working overtime to weed out the unwanted content we have. And that's what, the same folks whom we quote for lack of attention are the ones who binge watch that entire Money Heist series or whatnot, even the Desi Patal Lok also. At the same time, they will not wait to, swipe up a bad content.
So there is a pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. And post-pandemic, so I'm just answering to your question. It's not about we are in, attention recession or deficit. I think it's about, consumers now look for how meaningful you are as a brand or what proposition you are proposing is meaningful. So it is just not about the functional benefits that, we are looking at, as consumers. It's about personalization, and it's about, and coming with a collective spirit. And somewhere, if let's say most of the brands, and that happens, most of the brands do not give that, side of the offering, is when people start losing interest.
Yeah.
So that's where, I feel that recession is there, but also not there if you're being meaningful to the consumers.
Correct. Mayuri?
Yeah. So I think, see, that first 1 or 2 seconds is required to just make you stop. Just stop, but how will you do that, Okay, you're scrolling through the content, so much of content is there. Where will I just stop saying, okay, can I just have a look at it? And then I think it's the choice, because as he said, we do binge watching. Everybody does it. We have time, and we all know that, okay, where do we want to spend our time?
मतलब टाइम है बट
Time
तेरे
है,
लिए नहीं है.
लेकिन हाँ time है, लेकिन मुझे where will I spend? That I think for the brands what happen or anybody what happens is that, okay, how will I make that person see for that 1-2 seconds
Yeah.
after that, so that that person gives me more time.
Yeah. I mean, you have a point? Okay. No, I think time's up, and this guy is like giving me threatening looks now. If I don't get off stage, I think he's going to kill me. Thank you so much, everyone, for attentively listening to it and not looking at your phones while I was looking at my phone, because I had some questions here. And thank you so much,
Thank
my
you.
co-panel
Thank
members,
you.
Mayuri and Roopali and Aman, for being so generous in answering the questions. I think the questions are not bad. I think it was good questions,
It
right?
was very good.
We love them.
Thank you so much. That's it.
Thank you.